A short outing in the woods is sometimes all you need to experience the world's endless beauty. Today, Adventure Archives journeys into nature to rediscover the simple pleasures that only a few nights in the forest can provide. So come with us on this classic wilderness journey as we explore Virgin Falls. On a mild winter evening, we were headed south towards Tennessee.
We passed through Cincinnati on our way and decided to pay a visit to our viewer and friend, Dave.
Yo!
Welcome.
Thank you.
Once again, Dave had made some delicious fresh bread for us, which we sliced up and spread with butter.
You gotta get like the commercial where they go whoosh and get it all in one go.
Have you sampled your own wares yet?
Not today. This is actually only the second loaf I've made in the new house.
I thought you were about to say, the second loaf you've ever made, ever.
He only makes bread when we come over.
Thanks again.
Good to see you, man. Yeah,
Thanks
good
for
seeing you again.
for the bread.
Now, we continued on our drive and eventually pulled into the hotel we were staying at for the night.
Andrew looks like he's packed to go to the Nether Realm to fight Kung Lao and Shao Kahn.
We got settled into the room and enjoyed some post-drive snackage.
You want some Bryan sun chips?
I'm gonna eat the rest of this gas station.
Cheers to that.
This is the red beans and rice. This is the jambalaya.
There's nothing sadder and more wholesome than Andrew eating.
I'm gonna check that vending machine.
Oh, okay. Hey, this is a decent selection.
After a long drive and getting settled in, there was only one thing left to do. With our hunger satisfied and the start of the trip properly honored, we headed to bed. The next day, we awoke at 8 a.m. to an overcast sky.
Before heading out, we took advantage of the hotel's free breakfast.
As we grabbed our food, Robby, of course, had to have his hotel waffle.
Meanwhile, I was trying my best not to eat too heavy of a breakfast.
Are you gonna regret it? Are you sure?
That was biscuits and gravy with double sausage. This orange juice looks a little off color.
Thankfully, the coffee looked acceptable. And after that, we loaded up our gear and went on our way.
A light rain fell as we drove through rural Kentucky and Tennessee.
Eventually, we arrived at the Virgin Falls State Natural Area, where a dirt road led us to the Trailhead parking area.
As we unloaded our gear, I had a slight problem.
I brought a ham and cheese sandwich because I thought it was going to be way colder. I'm going to have to eat them quickly, though, because it's like warm outside today. This is not the right weather for this. It is tasty, though.
The sign at the start of the trail warned us that our hike would be strenuous.
Now, my memory is not perfect, but I do remember this hike being incredibly easy the last time I did it. So prepare yourself for anything but strenuous.
We stopped by a nearby map kiosk to review our journey ahead.
From the trailhead, we would head west for 4 miles until we arrived at Virgin Falls, where we'd set up camp. We would continue and explore the western region before heading back to the same campsite. And finally, we plan to explore a few extra points of interest on our last day before hiking out.
Yeah, the good thing about those long car rides right before you get to a trail is that, man, you really appreciate just getting out and moving with your feet. You're just like so happy to do it.
Along the way, I spotted a little plant.
So it's almost Christmas season. We've got these holly plants growing
sporadically throughout the forest, adding a nice splash of green to everything.
Now, what's the difference between holly and mistletoe again?
Mistletoe is like a parasitic little plant that grows on a tree, and holly is like an evergreen bush that grows here.
Wait a minute. So mistletoe is a parasite?
Yeah.
And it's like this celebrated plant?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. But yeah, holly is always the plant I thought was mistletoe growing up. I think a lot of people think that just because you often see holly on Christmas decorations. The beech leaves glistened as we continued through the damp forest, making a surprising amount of progress for having just started.
Yo, we've already done 1/5 of a mile.
Whoa, it really is easy when the trail's flat.
Not long after, we came to a fork in the trail and went left towards Virgin Falls. The right fork led to Martha's Pretty Point, a landmark that we would investigate another day.
Although it was the middle of December, the weather was surprisingly temperate.
So for a long time, we've been wanting to get a thermometer so we can actually see what the real temperature is. And thanks to Marie Fisher, we now have this little tiny thermometer, and it is currently 51 degrees Fahrenheit. No, 52. It's probably 51. My finger's probably heating it up. The rain right now is probably not rain. It's just we're in a cloud, so it's like kind of that mist. But 51 plus this light rain is acceptable, I would say. And honestly, our last hike was so difficult that this is nothing right now compared to what we've been doing.
I was gonna say, even considering someone with zero hiking experience, I don't know that I would call this strenuous. This is incredibly easy right now. We continued on, and I saw another evergreen shrub nearby. So interspersed with the holly we saw earlier, there's also these mountain laurel bushes. And if you didn't really pay attention as you were walking by, it kind of looked like all the same stuff. But these are another evergreen that you often see in the Appalachian Mountains. In the summertime, they have these really beautiful flowers, but you can see some of the leaves growing along the ground here as well. So growing on this tree is something called violet-toothed polypore. You often see it on dead or decaying wood. And it's a bit of a misleading name because sometimes when you see this mushroom, it just looks white or green because it's covered in lichen. But if you look closely, underneath some of these mushrooms where the teeth are, there's still some of that violet color on the margins.
So does that hurt the tree to have that stuff growing on it?
Usually it's an indication that the tree is already dead or dying. But there are mushrooms, I think, that are kind of parasitic and can actively hurt the tree as well. But usually it's a symptom more than a cause. Nearby, we saw a stick with crowded parchment fungus growing on it, and Bryan spotted a tree that had endured some strange injuries.
Something has like scraped the bark off the bottom of the tree here. That almost looks kind of like what a woodpecker would do to old wood. I've just never seen woodpeckers go at the wood so close to the base of the tree.
On our way further into the woods, we came across a fellow hiker who had seen our videos.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Here at Virgin Falls, hiking, run into some really cool dudes that I've been watching videos of for a while. This is a great day for me. Yep.
Good to see. Good to
Yeah.
We continued hiking, still surprised at the progress we had made.
This is like the rare instance where we've done a half mile and it feels like we've only walked 10 feet.
The flat terrain was a joy to hike on, especially after our previous hike in Japan. That, combined with the spaciousness of the forest in the winter, added to the sereneness of our surroundings.
As we hiked, a gentle mist rolled through the woods, filling the gaps between the trees.
And then, all at once, the mist was replaced by a sea of green shrubbery that broke up the earthy tones of the landscape.
It feels like we're walking into some old English garden, like with the foggy weather, and also these shrubs just feel like old overgrown hedges or something. So these are more mountain laurels, and actually you can see the clumps where the flowers used to be. In the summertime, they have these really pink, intricate looking flowers. We've seen them in various places throughout the Appalachians. But yeah. Small rivulets ran parallel to the trail, winding through the leaf-covered forest floor.
Ahead on the trail, we came across another mile marker.
What do you think? A mile yet?
What?
I feel like kilometers at this rate.
Yo, we've just leveled up our hiking skills or something.
The subtle but varied sights of nature were all around us. The tops of pine trees swayed in the wind, high above old tangles of cobwebs adorned in dewdrops. Striped wintergreen plants grew from the leaf litter, alongside the papery leaves of cranefly orchids.
Further down the trail was a small wooden kiosk with nothing posted on it.
Where is everybody? Well, I would assume that they have plans for this. This is new since the last time I was here, I believe. Still looks new.
Very nice little trail.
Just think back to the last time we went hiking was in Japan. How difficult that was.
We continued on, and Andrew came across a surprising but seasonable plant.
I just looked down and I saw this line on the ground, and I'm pretty sure this is mistletoe, or something in that family of plants. Mistletoe is a parasitic plant like we mentioned earlier, and it usually grows at the tops of trees in these clumps. And in the wintertime, it was one of the only things that was still green, so that's why it's associated with Christmas and the holidays. But I'm trying to figure out where this came from, because it's just lying on the ground here.
Where did the kissing tradition come from?
I'm not sure, actually. I don't know anything about romance. As it turns out, the mistletoe was growing out of a tree just above us. I'm not kissing anybody, though.
Although, turns out you do know something about romance after all.
And up ahead was another botanical bauble. So here's a clear sign that we're in the south. This giant leaf is Magnolia. The forest we're in right now has lots of oaks. It's primarily hardwood, but occasionally I've been seeing these huge leaves just lying on the ground. Yeah, there's also all these little pockets on the stream by the trail. And every so often you find a place that just looks completely magical.
How much have we hiked? Like 3 miles already?
According to this, 1.7.
Oh, easiest 1.7 of my life.
Yeah.
The trail now crossed over some flat rocks.
A little slick there.
Good save.
Andrew and I were able to benefit from Bryan's experience as he guided us across the rocks.
The path wound onward, continuing along rivulets that trickled gently over sheets of fractured stone.
We came across a fruiting holly plant as we entered a grove of hemlock trees. Here, the rocky creek beds turned into larger and larger gullies before finally leading us to a natural alcove with a waterfall called Big Branch Falls.
How does this compare to when you were here? More or less water?
About the same.
It's not disappointingly dry, so that's good.
Yeah.
Whenever I see stuff like this, I just think if you were like a hobbit on a little adventure, how great this place would be to just, huddle under that cave and eat a sandwich or whatever.
Well, we should take a snack break here. Like our own little hobbit experience.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
After enjoying the scenery, we sat down and grabbed our food.
Does anybody have snacks to spare for a poor beggar who forgot to bring any snacks?
I got a, what does it take to be, Fiber One bar. Got protein bars.
Fiber and protein are like the opposite. So if you want to just cancel out and have a regular bar, you eat one of those and one of these.
I've got meat and cheese sticks. Can I have a meat stick? You want one?
Oh, sure.
Andrew casually offering up my food. These beef sticks look like little candles. You could just light the end and it would burn. They do, yeah. It might have enough oil and fat in there that it would too. On one trip, I don't remember what it was, but my lips got super chapped and I didn't have any chapstick, so I literally took a beef stick and bit it and rubbed the fat on my lips and it worked.
I feel like only us would have to use like survival techniques in situations that don't warrant it.
And this is like classic Adventure Archives trip. This weather turned out to be really nice, actually.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. And I think something that's good is since we're hiking into a valley, it seems, I hear all the wind above us in the trees rather than blowing on us directly. Like I've barely felt any wind, which is great.
Oh, no, wait, I do have one thing. I grabbed this at the last minute. Dun, 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 dun. I brought Thomas's favorite gummy snacks. These were actually courtesy of our viewer named John. He has a YouTube channel called John's Tiny Workshop. He made us these awesome coasters.
Oh, yeah.
But he padded the package of coasters with these little Welch's fruit snacks.
Best packing peanuts ever.
This is in honor of Thomas.
Man, that is such a familiar taste at this point.
We've got all the different taste groups covered.
Okay, so shall we continue our Hobbit adventure? All right.
Look at how flat and even this ground is right now.
Man, that is really crazy.
From here, the trail wound down a gradual hill, leading us towards a larger creek.
There's just an actual pillow down there.
With a pillow sheet, too.
Yeah. Makes you wonder if like someone actually brought that to go camping. We've made a bunch of different water crossings before on different types of devices, but I think this is a first for me. Just using a cable for support.
Pretty simple design, but I feel like it's pretty helpful.
It's actually not too bad at all.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. The only concern would be as if these were more slippery, but right now, they're actually not that bad.
Now how do we feel about the distance? Was that 0.5 miles?
Oh, that felt longer.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the cable crossing campsite. This is where I stayed last time. So imagine
It's time to camp. That's how much I did on the first day.
What do you mean? It's not time to camp? I'm ready. It's a nice campsite. Someone even stacked some wood over here.
wow, what?
Yeah, that looks great.
Man.
Someone did some work.
Yeah, that wasn't here last time.
Yeah.
Neither were these signs, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, these nice numbered signs, they were not here.
I don't know, man. I can hammock right there.
Tonight's gonna be really nice.
Yeah, wait until you see the campsite tonight.
As inviting as this campsite looked, we needed to make more distance.
Up ahead, Andrew came across an edible plant.
So this is a common berry that grows this time of year on little vines that grow along the ground. It's partridge berry. We've definitely had this before, so. Actually, in the past I've had them, they tasted like dust. This one kind of tastes like a slightly flavorless apple. So, a marginal improvement.
It's not the leftover residue from the fruit gummies?
No, I don't think so.
After that, we came to the other end of the side trail that led to Martha's Pretty Point.
From there, the path led us along majestic shale and limestone bluffs.
We continued hiking, getting ever closer to our destination.
We've been hiking for about 2 hours and we've done 2 miles. So we're right on our usual 1 mile per hour pace. We have about 3 miles left and sun sets in about 3 hours. So right now everything is looking exactly as planned.
More boulders dotted the landscape around us, creating small cascades in the adjacent stream.
Larger stones were scattered all about. The further we followed the trail, the more lively our surroundings became. Eventually, the flat terrain transformed into a hilly landscape.
All right, this 2 miles seems more reasonable. It feels like 2 miles now, right?
I think so.
Or do you feel like we've done more or less?
I don't know anymore.
If that's 2 miles, then we're going actually slower than we normally do.
Oh,
It's probably been like 2.5 hours.
Our pace was likely slowing down a bit due to the rugged terrain, but in exchange, we retreated to a view of big Laurel Falls spilling into a large gully.
I feel like a lot of the water was frozen when I was here.
Oh.
Way too warm for that right now.
Yeah.
All right, let's go down, take a look.
Yeah, we definitely underestimated the trail. I mean, right now we're going downhill, so it's fine, but coming back up this I can see why they might put strenuous for most hikers.
We now scrambled down a steep, rugged trail that led to the bottom of the falls.
Just tumbled into you guys.
Falls.
Wow. Wow, that is a massive cave. Yeah. Looks so dark out here. The scale of the cliffs were almost more impressive than the waterfall itself. We decided to explore around and take a closer look. It didn't look that big when you're trying to come down, and then once you get here, the size is just hard to fathom.
All this debris that has fallen here makes you wonder, did it stick out more, or did it used to be like thicker? Because that definitely looks like pieces could have fallen off from the bottom there.
Near the bottom of the falls were piles of rocks that had fallen from above.
Wow.
One interesting thing is you can kind of see these splotches where water has seeped through the rock. And I think that's pretty common with sandstone like this. And then really common with these overhangs and recesses is you just have a pile of sand inside that's like underneath everything else. Look at these different patterns too. You've got this like weird wavy pattern here, this sort of terrace like honeycomb grid here.
All right, shall we?
Yeah. Like the silent, subdued winter forest, the waterfall had a delicate quality to it as it fell to the ground.
Not far from the falls, we spotted some large mushrooms growing on an old log. Well, I saw these on the log here, and I took a look underneath. I thought these might be oyster mushrooms, but I've never seen them this big. Can they get this big?
I think these are oysters.
Looks like a kombucha SCOBY.
Yeah, it does. Well, and oysters are also one of the few mushrooms you'll find at this time of year, so
Yeah.
that definitely narrows it down. Wow, there's some old ones here too. Mm-hmm. Something's been munching on it already. But.
Yeah.
These winter oyster mushrooms, as the name implies, are one of a handful of edible mushrooms you can find during the winter season. Nearby, we also saw an old umbel of hydrangeas.
We headed back to the trail, taking in our surroundings on the way. Even in the heart of winter, as plants die back and decay, new life springs forward in the form of moss, lichen, and fungi.
We returned to the main trail and had only walked a handful of yards before making an observation.
You know what's always really surprising is when you're next to a waterfall, it's so loud that you'd think you'd be able to hear it through the whole forest. But now it's like super quiet and you're just like in this super quiet forest.
And it's kind of a straight shot down this valley, so it's not even like there's something in the way.
Man, it's hot.
Yeah.
The thermometer says 50 degrees. Is this what 50 degrees feels like?
That's another thing I'm not sure about, because it was 50 as we were driving in, and it felt colder.
Yeah.
But now it feels
There's no
warmer.
wind now. So. You're doing sorry too?
Oh, yeah. Once I tried it, it was like, this is
It's
great.
weird how well it works.
Yeah.
Just one arm out and you feel so much cooler.
Perfect for weather like this when it's like still kind of cool and cold. Nearby, an edible spicebush berry still lingered through the cold, and on the ground, there was something even more interesting. So down on the ground here, there's these weird-looking, alien-looking mushrooms. These are Calostoma mushrooms, and I always see them on trips like this in this sort of environment. I guess they tend to be one of the ones that grow in the winter or late fall. But if you squeeze them, all these poofs of spores come out, and some of them landed on this leaf, and you can see that the spores have this kind of pale yellow color to them. That is not like any mushroom I've ever seen. It is a really weird looking one. Really cool to see that though.
Is it in the phallus genus?
It's not actually.
As we hiked along the trail, Andrew spotted a distinctive looking plant.
All right, so this is rattlesnake plantain, one of the few green herbaceous plants you'll see still growing this time of year. You can see that its leaves have this beautiful reticulated pattern with dark green and these bright veins going through it. And then where it gets its name from is the seed stalk that you'll sometimes find still attached to the plant. This one's dry, but you can see that the tip of it looks like the rattle of a rattlesnake. It doesn't really make any sound right now, but...
Will it at some point?
I'm not sure, actually. I imagine all the seeds have fallen out, but maybe when there's still stuff attached, it could make a sound.
We continued along the trail, which passed by some interesting rock formations and offered a clear view of distant blue hills.
On the way to our campsite, we came across a trail junction.
So we have a choice to make. We'll get to the falls either way. If we go to the left and skip the cave, 0.5. Okay.
I was just kidding. Well, not that I disagree with him, but I think if we get to the falls sooner, we can film it while we still have some light.
Well, my thought is we save the sheep cave until the final day, because we'll be coming back one of these two trails either way. So we can do this one today, and then we can do this one on the final day.
We'll be seeing the falls the whole time, really, because we're going to stay there 2 nights, so that's not really an issue. But I'm fine saving the cave for the last day. Yeah. That'll leave something interesting for that hike out.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, that'll be good motivation, because we'll be like, oh, let's go check out that cave, and then we'll get up, and then it'll be a very long hike after that. I am 100% ready to get to that campsite at this point. Not that this has been a hard hike or anything, but it's the time of day for it. We're gonna set up that big tent. We're all gonna get inside. I'm gonna show you my little entertainment thing I brought. Woo!
Yeah, I think a big factor is also just the fact that it's getting dark so quickly, especially because we just crossed over into the other time zone. So it just feels like that time to settle into camp.
We kept hiking, coming across some large slabs of slick rock.
Whoa! You all right?
Yeah.
Oh, that is painful. You okay?
Yeah. Yeah, these slick rocks are not great in this weather. We continued down a rocky, rugged hillside, a far cry from the flat trail at the start of today's hike.
At the bottom of the hill was another junction in the trail.
Okay, if memory serves me correctly, we're very close to Virgin Falls now. The map actually says it's 0.3 miles still, but I feel like I remember just like getting down from the falls and then just suddenly being right here.
What is this? That looks like one of those weird puzzles.
Trapsusa.com.
So like
So
some
it's
sort
like
of
a trap.
Question is, did somebody forget this, or is it supposed to be here?
I bet someone left it on the trail and someone hung it on the sign or something.
Okay, yeah, I don't think it'll be long now, so.
All right, let's go.
And hopefully no uphill, but I don't remember, so.
It is interesting though, even in the winter, you can tell this is kind of like that Savage Gulf effect where it's a lot more lush down here. Like you can see a bit more greenery growing here and there, and it feels like it would be a lot more lush in the spring compared to up there. Along the trail, we saw some old oak galls, and ahead on the trail, we came across some old wooden and concrete fence posts.
The random graffiti was a bit intriguing, but wanting to get to our campsite, we continued on, making our way up a hill.
We now approached Virgin Falls and its nearby campground, which only Robby had seen in person before.
I'm very curious to see you guys' reaction to this, because I think it's going to be bigger than what you expect.
I'm not really expecting anything. I don't know what to expect. It's getting louder. Just a couple signs.
Oh, I can start to see it.
Oh, whoa. I'm gonna check this out really quick. Well, this is just like a huge crater or something. Not literally, but that's pretty cool.
Okay, let's go have the main event.
See the main. Whoa. Holy crap.
Wow, that's cool.
This is huge. Wow.
Wow, yeah, keeps going.
As soon as you approach it, you see that and you're like, wow, that's really high up. And then the bottom reveals itself and you're like, holy crap. Wow. Holy cow. Water cascaded into a yawning chasm below, pouring over the edge of a tall cliff whose scale was difficult to grasp.
Like silk draped over a statue, the falls flowed in an intricate pattern as it spilled over the craggy rocks.
That is a waterfall to rival waterfalls we've seen in Hawaii and other exotic locations. Like, that is incredible.
The great news is that we've got 2 nights here.
Yeah.
So we got lots of time to admire it.
Yeah.
Do you know what this reminded me of when I saw it?
What?
I think it was Karate Kid 3. When they go down in the bonsai tree.
Oh, yeah. They find the natural one.
Yeah. Yeah, so to the left, you can get all the way around
Oh, wow.
behind the falls, and there's a great place to fill up water up there too.
Definitely have to do that at some point.
And then we're at campsite 8, which is just right up here, that big fire ring you see there.
Oh, wow.
Is this the same one you stayed at?
Yep. I just picked it because it was available. This is the best one.
And you've still got a view of the falls from here. Maybe in the summertime you can't see it as well, but right now you can see it through those trees.
Finally at our campsite, we took a moment to rest, enjoy some food, and talk about the journey so far.
It's funny how early and late it feels at the same time.
4 o'clock.
Wow. Is that all you brought?
Pretty much.
Oh, Andrew brought even less than I did.
It feels a little ridiculous how great it feels to come to this campsite, because the trail was really not that bad at all.
It doesn't matter how much hiking you do. As long as you do some hiking, it always feels good to get to that campsite.
Yeah. Do you guys remember why you didn't come on the trip last time?
No.
Was there a reason?
Yeah, you were both sick.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. That was that trip. I missed out.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Last time was better though. There was snow everywhere, it was awesome. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna set up that tent.
It's gonna be great. Why is that big tent so exciting?
Well, it's even bigger now, because Brian's gonna ham it. So me and Andrew are gonna be like kings. We'll never be able to go back to a regular tent after this.
I know what people say.
We're about to join the circus!
Ready to fully enjoy our relaxing campsite, we started setting up our shelters for the night.
The prospect of falling asleep in the perfectly cool weather had us giddy with excitement.
Never using a small tent again. It's a big tent life for me. Look at all this room. Come on, man.
Oh, man. This is the best tent ever. Well, we'll want to actually peg this down because we're going to leave it here.
Oh, that's true. Teamwork, baby! Like a well-oiled machine. Let's open up the ventilation shaft. It's like, there's so much room, I don't even have to like worry about where it's gonna go. You just throw it in there, man. Let the sleeping bag completely unfurl. Hold on, we're not living in the Stone Age. Let there be some weak light from my very old headlamp. The cozy meter is like slowly filling.
With each pump of air, it goes up.
We're gonna feel too spacious. It's gonna be like cold.
Meanwhile, Bryan was just finishing setting up his hammock.
The good thing about the fact that we're staying here tomorrow night too is that it makes the effort of setting this up worth it. Now that camp was set up, we boiled some water for tonight's dinner.
Okay, so Lance and Yixing sent us some dehydrated meals. There's a couple of caveats though. First of all, this is completely in Chinese. So we can't read the instructions, but I think all you need to know is 10 to 15 minutes, take the desiccant out. This is braised pork with rice, which sounds very delicious. Now the other caveat is I just saw this. The expiration date was June 15th, 2022.
Oh, jeez.
So for a dehydrated meal, that means this is probably pretty old, or they just make them really fresh. Actually, it says 3 years here. And then there's another thing that says 5 years. But I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna roll the dice. Thank you, Lance and Yixing. I'm sure this is gonna be delicious, but we'll report in just a minute.
Once the water had boiled, we added it to our meals.
Okay, cool. Now we play the waiting game.
This game sucks. Let's play Hungry Hungry Hippos.
After enough time had passed, we checked on our food.
Wow. That looks amazing.
It smells good.
Wow.
That rice really adds some heft to it, too.
There's some mushrooms in here, too.
Looks like the filling of a zongzi or something.
Yeah. Robby just stunned silence while he eats.
Good Lord, what brand is this again? Alp Chef. We gotta find Alp Chef.
Yeah, we gotta.
Woo! Lance and Yixing, thank you. Holy cow.
Wow. Holy cow, that's phenomenal. These are flavors I've never experienced on the trail.
That's really good. That is like zongzi filling.
Yeah. It's like I'm back in one of those restaurants in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
That is like way better than I expected it to be. Like that tastes like a restaurant quality meal.
All right, we brought back an old classic.
The lasagna.
It looks exactly how I remember.
So I started watching The Sopranos recently, and every time I see Tony Soprano poking at his pasta, I'm like, man, I want to eat that pasta. And they always have some sort of like pasta with a tomato sauce, so I've been waiting for this. It doesn't disappoint. Although after that, it's like, you want this?
Yeah, I'll barter. You guys can have. Well, actually, you already took a bite. Just let me get a bite. Actually, you can have another bite if you want.
I'll take a small nibble.
You can just take 2 bites from Andrew's.
Man, that's good. Wow, that's
Still
good.
good, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this braised pork is pretty on point, but maybe the key.
It's the variety.
It's the variety.
Yeah, we gotta.
Oh! Yeah!
Yeah. We gotta just have multiple. Actually, we might do something like that tomorrow.
Wow. It was good. Good day and good night so far. And it's only gonna get better. Oh, it's only gonna get better.
After the main course, we indulged in some dessert. Some personal size pies. Apple?
Okay.
Although you had apple last time too, I think.
I did. That's okay.
We can just like.
We're gonna share anyways.
Yeah, we'll share. Yeah. Ray ain't coming home. Let's just eat them and we'll pass them around.
Yeah. Oh, actually, look at this. Look at this.
Oh, hey.
Hold on.
Hey, that's not bad. All right.
It kind of hits the spot, actually.
I did have apple pie last time, but I gotta say, the apple pie is still quite good.
I have this clear childhood memory of eating blueberry pie at my childhood home on the kitchen counter. I just remember really enjoying it. Blueberry pie is like one of the few fruit pies I really like. I kind of like how the pecan pie has like broken up bits of pecan since it's a mini one. So you don't like pecan pie?
I don't like pecan pie at all, yeah.
That's so funny.
They can keep that delicacy.
Wow, those pies hit really hard actually. Those were like really good.
That was exactly what I needed.
I wanted something sweet that wasn't a protein bar.
Dink that and sink it. By the end, Andrew's gonna be bartering his protein bars out. I give you 1 protein bar for a peanut.
Got 20 whole grams. What time is it? Like 2 p.m.?
It's like 5:30.
Wait, what? It's 5:30 p.m. right now?
Yeah.
It is pitch black as the deepest night I've ever been in. So, like I said, I got ourselves a little thing. So get your stuff all ready.
Okay.
And then get your life together, and then I'm gonna blow your mind.
Curious what this is.
Don't get your hopes up too much.
They're not that high. I have no idea what to expect right now.
Yeah.
So in all the time that we've done Adventure Archives, for some reason we've never done this before. And when you think about it, it's actually really crazy that we have not done this before.
Oh!
Nice.
I had a suspicion it might have been a Joy-Con you were pulling.
Oh man.
Why haven't we done this? That is really weird.
I don't know.
Because like we were so excited about this when we filmed that Daniel Boone episode. That's all we could talk about because it was right before the Switch came out.
Over Thanksgiving, we were playing Mario Wonder, and it was just so much fun. We were like hooting and hollering. And I was like, I want to do that in a tent so badly.
Do you guys remember? I don't think I was out here with you guys, but we were at our aunt's house, and you guys all set up a tent outside and dragged a TV to the tent.
Yeah.
And you're playing like Super Nintendo on it.
Yeah.
man, we're coming full circle, baby.
Yeah, full circle.
Oh no!
Wonderful.
After goofing around, it was time to head to bed.
All right, good night.
Wow, this is so roomy. This feels like a hotel room.
This might be slightly nicer than our hotel. In fact, when you factor in the nice scenery, it's actually nicer. The thermometer earlier was saying 51.
It actually feels colder than that, but
It does, yeah.
either way, I'm gonna be warm tonight.
Either way, these pants are coming off.
You know what? I should de-sock though.
Ooh, it's a bold maneuver.
It's okay, I got a unisock.
It's like, why have two socks? I'm not gonna have one sock.
One sock with the power of two. I haven't used this in a while.
Oh yeah.
Tomorrow I'm gonna throw a hand warmer down there.
Yeah, it's supposed to get like almost twice as cold tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we just lie here for about 6 hours until we actually want to fall asleep.
Literally only 6:30. I'm surprised how tired I feel though.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired. But
If we fall asleep now, we'll get up at like 2 a.m.
we can fall asleep now, go to the bathroom, and then fall asleep again.
You kind of have to pee now.
All right, we're all set up in the hammock, nice and snug and cozy. I can hear the other guys chit-chatting and goofing off, but it's gonna be a good night. Gonna sleep well. All right, see you tomorrow. It was a brisk, overcast morning. I was the first to wake up, and after warming up around the camp, I checked in on the others. Feels pretty warm in here.
It's nice and warm. That's why I didn't want to get up. Even though we've been here for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
I joined the waking world, and Bryan and I talked about our nights.
I heard you guys going on about like,
Oh yeah. So last night I had a dream that like someone was outside our tent, and then I looked outside and there was like a shadowy figure, and I was trying to like scream at it. But apparently the way it sounded like Hank Hill going, whoa! So Robby started laughing, but I didn't wake up yet, apparently. And then in my dream I like screamed again. So then Robby was like, Andrew.
yeah, when I first heard that noise, I was like,
Oh, you heard it too?
yeah, I heard it. And I was like, huh? And then I was like, that's probably one of them.
Actually, I slept really well. Like I passed out so quickly.
Yeah.
It was such a deep sleep.
Yeah. Last night wasn't bad at all. I was just,
Yeah.
I mean, the hammock was nice and warm.
I'm curious how cold tonight will be.
It might be a little tougher
Yeah.
this night, but
That big tent is always open though.
I eventually joined the others and got the portable stove ready to boil some water.
Today, we'd be making mochas with some coffee sent to us by Marie Fisher and some instant hot cocoa.
And we had an extra surprise for Robby to add to our freshly brewed beverages.
With the marshmallows added, it was time to drink up.
Cheers.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Some mochas with marshmallows.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that is a concentrated blast of sugar and caffeine.
Yeah. That wakes you up immediately.
Warms you up too.
These marshmallows are really good too.
Dude, I'm gonna be running down that trail.
How'd you sleep?
I put my head down, I immediately passed out for an hour. You had your Hank Hill episode. Then eventually I fell asleep. But the problem is that my air mat has a leak in it. And then by the time I got up this morning, there was a rock like directly in my hip.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Yeah, I slept like a rock. Speaking of rocks.
Yeah, I definitely like passed out up until Andrew had his Hank Hill episode.
Oh.
Oh! Warm liquids really do warm you up.
Yeah.
Bryan wasn't making it up.
Whew. Time to play some Super Mario Wonder.
Before starting the day, we had a few chores to do.
Okay, so top of the falls here, there is a trail that goes around to the back. And then there's like a little stream. And we're gonna take the gravity filter pouch, fill that up, and then bring it back.
One thing I love about like staying at the same campsite, you start to feel like this whole area becomes your home.
Yeah.
And like, especially with this little trail to the watering hole, it's like, oh yeah, time to go to that watering hole.
Well, there's a lot more debris than when I was here last time. This tree looks freshly fallen.
Whoa.
Wow. Relatively fresh anyway. Yeah.
Talk about feeling like you're in an adventure movie. That is like never-ending story type stuff. After inspecting the cave, we scrambled over some fallen debris to get to an area where it would be easier to fill up on water. Yeah, that's a good idea.
After filling up, we followed the small loop trail back to camp. Along the way, we passed by another small campsite.
Whoa.
It's a cool place to have little bonfires.
Yeah. The trail now led us through a narrow crevice in the sandstone and limestone bluffs.
It took a bit of scurrying to get back to the trail, but once we were back on solid ground, we rushed back to camp.
Bryan, I hope you're thirsty.
Fill that up all the way.
Yeah.
But as we started filtering the water, we noticed something.
So we got about 3 little shrimpy looking bugs in there. I'm gonna start the filter, and if they start to get sucked through, we'll try to figure out how to get them out some other way. Okay, here we go. Yep, they're just swimming around right now. Okay, so it turns out there's like a little membrane right here, so they're not gonna get sucked through. So we'll just get it down, and then we can return them back to their pond.
Once we had finished filtering, Andrew took the creatures back to their natural habitat.
Okay, it should be shrimp-free now.
As Andrew headed back to camp, we prepared some breakfast.
So, I was very excited for this last night while I was lying in bed. I stole 2 oatmeal packets from the hotel. And then Andrew, what do you got?
Yeah, so I've got this ube champorado. So Jim and Irma sent us this, and I think champorado is originally like some sort of a chocolatey Mexican porridge. Yeah, so this is ube flavored. And I think this is a Filipino dish that kind of came about because of like Spanish culture and stuff like that.
Oh, there's like a, that must be the purple ube powder.
Oh, you can see the little Rice Krispies in here. No, that is bright purple.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Oh my god, this looks like a carnival snack or something.
Oh man, that looks good.
Not that this is a bad thing, but we are lazing away the morning, and I love it. This is the mornings that we don't really normally get.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
You guys want some of this oatmeal? Maple brown sugar.
Take a little. Oh wow, that's always better than I expect it to be. I don't know why, but
yeah, that was really good. Holy cow. Oatmeal is the kind of food that where if I made it to the point where I liked it, it wouldn't be healthy anymore.
Yeah, this is way too sugary to have every day.
Yeah.
The sun poked through the clouds as we waited for the champorado to finish cooking.
All right, time for this ube stuff.
I give that a good stir again.
Wow, that looks good though. Man, this is like something a kid would dream about. Wow, that's good. It's got like a
corny flavor.
A toastiness.
Toastiness. Oh.
Yeah. That's good though. It's actually not that sweet.
Oh yeah, it's not. Yeah, it does have a popcorn taste to it.
Yeah. Ube is similar to taro flavor. I think.
Actually, the carnival food description really fits this. The color, the taste.
Like you smell the popcorn at a carnival, it tastes like
it tastes like you went to the carnival and got purple popcorn.
Yeah, there you go.
One wonders what Andrew's poops will look like.
Oh, that is delicious.
After breakfast, we filled up on water, got our gear sorted out, then headed out for the day.
Before heading to the main trail, we headed back towards the falls.
So Bryan hasn't seen the top of the falls yet, so we're gonna go check it out. And Bryan was just mentioning that it looks like there's more water today, and I think he's right. It definitely looks like it's flowing a lot more.
This is pretty cool, but it's definitely more impressive on that side. From here, it just looks kind of like a small river. Yeah, it's kind of surprising that it generates so much water over the waterfall.
So in this area, there's lots of interesting plants growing. These ones here with the 3 lobes are called hepaticas. And in the springtime, you can see flowers growing from these, but in the wintertime, you just see these nice leaves. They have a nice like waxy texture. So actually down here, there's a patch of hepaticas and there's an actual flower growing right now. Maybe it's because it's unseasonably warm that we're seeing this right now. And then over here, we've got a mushroom called deadly gallerina. Now this is a lookalike to an edible mushroom that grows around this time of year called Flammulina velutipus. If you look underneath the mushroom, it has this indentation of where a ring was, and that's a good way to know that it's a poisonous mushroom. And there's a few smaller, younger clumps growing here. Over here we have a plant called little brown jug. It's another plant that has like a nice waxy leaf that stays green throughout the winter, so nice pop of color.
And of course we got our season relevant Christmas fern.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I did not expect the water to be coming from a cave like that. It's completely flowing underneath this. Yeah, this is definitely like out of a video game. You'd be like, I'm just gonna go up a little further and like, in a cave.
We continued on, making our way to an overlook we had passed by earlier this morning.
That's pretty impressive. Yeah, even though you can't see the whole fall, this kind of gives you that different perspective of how high up this is.
Yeah.
After that, we made our way back towards the main trail.
This is definitely not an official campsite.
Yeah, you can't camp here, but we were saying it's a good bonfire place.
Oh, there's a little path this way too. Do you know what that is? It's a flat space, but it'd be a little rocky to camp in. Looks like it keeps going up to those rocks. Very graceful.
Now it was back to the main trail.
Okay, so this is the Rylander Cascades Trail, and there's 3 different falls that we can go to. One of them is Rylander Cascades, the other one's Dry Creek Falls, and the other one is Lost Creek Falls. First up, we got 2.5 miles or so to the first intersection, and then we can go right to Dry Creek, left to Rylander Cascades and Lost Creek. So,
As we hiked, we couldn't help but notice the perfect sunny weather.
I don't know about you guys, but days like today are the point of being alive. Have a great sleep like that, relaxed morning with some good breakfast.
These are the kind of trips that I wish we could do all the time. Not that I don't enjoy the other ones, but this really like adds to the full experience.
I was just thinking this weather is perfect, and I feel like a kid exploring the woods again.
With the warm sun coming out, we decided to take some layers off, and Andrew spotted a familiar tree.
So every so often we've seen these big magnolia leaves all over the ground, and this is one of those trees that produces those leaves. And it's even still got one of these funky looking seed pods hanging off of it. Almost looks like a pine cone or something. And then here's another one of those huge leaves.
We also saw some deadly gallerina mushrooms, and nearby was a nice pile of dead wood.
On our way back, this might be a good spot to collect some firewood for tonight. Just saw up some of these pieces.
And now we continued on. Here, the trail became much more hilly, leading us up steep, rocky inclines.
Moss-covered boulders were scattered across the forest floor. In the sunlight, their green hue contrasted with the reddish glow of the leaf litter.
Came to the crest of the hill and noticed a strange structure sitting by the trail.
So the trail takes a little right turn here, but there's some interesting little rocks here. I think this is actually built up. These are like actual bricks.
Huh. I don't think this is marked on the map. This is just an unmarked thing. Perhaps an old homestead, but maybe not.
This has only got to be like 5 by 5 feet at most. So given the size, my first thought was like maybe an old chimney stack or furnace, but it also looks like the walls are built up on all sides, so I'm not exactly sure, because you'd think there would be like some sort of hole. But it's also
possible that it just collapsed over on one side, covering up the hole.
The rocks kind of continue around, so it could have been.
There could be a little foundation.
There's some even more out here. These ones here look like actual blocks that were carved out, but these other ones look a little more natural. Interesting.
We weren't sure what the stone structure was, so we kept hiking. Along the way, we saw some interesting mushrooms, including some colorful turkey tail fungi.
And we also kept an eye out for more firewood.
I'm noticing lots of tulip poplar growing in this area, so might be a good place to find some tinder.
I keep forgetting that having a fire tonight is even an option. This is gonna be so exciting.
Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. This stuff's a little bit damp, but it's peeling so perfectly. When you are really intent on starting a fire, you gotta collect the stuff when you find it and not rely on just finding stuff around camp.
With a nice bundle of tinder collected, we continued on our way.
A scene of distant blue hills adorned our surroundings as we continued hiking uphill.
Along the way, I spotted an interesting looking thing just off the trail.
Do you know what that is? Is that just a deformation or a mushroom?
Yeah, that's just it looks like a mushroom at first glance, but it's just a deformation. It looks like the tree was stuck to that rock initially and started growing around it, and then it fell over. I bet if you lifted it up, it would line up perfectly with the edge of the rock there.
The continued incline of today's hike was quite a change in pace from yesterday's easy trail.
There's a bit of uphill on the way to our next destination, but honestly, it's really not that bad. After what we went through in Japan, you look at these and you're like, oh, that's easy.
Plus, on the way back to the campsite, it's gonna be all downhill.
The other nice thing about this is the path itself is pretty well maintained, so it's not like you're scrambling over all these loose rocks or anything.
Eventually, we passed a sign pointing ahead to Lost Creek, one of the potential areas we were considering checking out. We hiked a bit further and came to the top of another hill.
This is the Wilson Creek Ridge Kiosk.
Looks like a literal kiosk.
It's got benches, so we can take a break and have some lunch. Yeah, look at this, we can even face each other. It's like sitting at a booth at a restaurant. What do you guys have for your lunch today?
More protein bars. In hindsight, I maybe should have packed something else. So apparently we did 2.5 miles already from Virgin Falls, not including all the stuff we did around the falls.
I wonder how accurate that is, because my watch says 2.2 miles.
And it usually overestimates, if anything.
Yeah, and that was way from the campsite too.
If you look at this, it looks more like 2 and a little bit.
Oh yeah.
We gotta bring a portable table next time. Put it right here.
Put the switch on there. I love this time of year.
The only downside is how little light you get.
Yeah.
Only downside.
But in a way, it's an upside. Because we can retreat to that tent quickly.
After our snack break, I collected more tinder, and then we went on our way.
Now, our hike was an easy downhill, and we noticed the air seemed to be getting cooler as well.
The temperature might be dropping a little bit. Earlier, the thermometer was saying it was like 51, and it says 48 now. But it might also just be the wind.
It's definitely the wind. Like, we were just in a constant gust up there at the ridge. The minute we start going a little lower, we'll probably feel like we're warming up again.
Just by the trail was a fallen log with more turkey tail fungus, these ones taking on bluish gray and orange hues.
And further along in the distance were some impressive rocky bluffs that almost looked like ancient castle ruins sitting atop the ridges.
It's a good thing that we were actually only on the ridge for that tiny bit. If we had to keep hiking up there, we'd be dealing with these huge gusts of wind right now. And it'd be very cold.
Up ahead, Bryan and I spotted some strange-looking seeds.
As it turned out, these belonged to Paulownia tomentosa, the princess tree, a non-native species originally from Asia. And on the ground nearby, I spotted another interesting plant.
Okay, this is actually a very cool find. It looks kind of just like a clump of normal plants or leaves, but even though it doesn't look like it, this is a type of fern. If you turn the leaf over, you can see there's some spores on the underside. And this is something called walking fern. The reason it's called the walking fern is, if you notice, this leaf is just super long. And what happens is these leaves grow out really long, and then they go back into the soil or into whatever they're growing on. It's usually rocks or something like that, and they create new roots and new growths from that point where the leaf re-enters the soil. There's one here where there's some roots at the tip of it, so you can kind of see where it's grown a new growth. And then actually, it's a little hard to see here, but you can see where one of these leaves has actually dug into the rock and grown new tiny little leaves.
Although it's secure as a species overall, the fern is considered endangered in some specific regions of the eastern US.
So, noticed Robby looking at this mushroom here. On touch, it feels kind of like a wood ear, but the color is not something that I've seen for a wood ear. It's possible it could be like really old witch's butter.
It looks like a witch's butter to me.
I was right.
Yeah.
Go me.
We actually still have a ways to go, and we've got 3.5 hours, maybe 3 hours and 40 minutes until sunset. I think we'll try to make some distance here. We got a sign that says Lost Creek is up ahead.
As we hiked, we saw a log covered in more turkey tail, and in the distance were cliffs pockmarked with small caves.
You know, knowing that there's like caves scattered throughout this area, it makes me want to explore those cliffs and just see what there is. It's really interesting to think what might be hiding in this landscape.
How much longer we got, Bryan?
Half a mile at most.
We absolutely took our time today, but in the winter, you just have so much less time to hike because of the amount of daylight. Well, we still got a good 3.5 hours, but the cloud cover and the low sun definitely makes it feel like we have less time than that.
We passed by more rocky bluffs in the distance. Along the way, we also saw the remnants of a maidenhair fern and some false turkey tail mushrooms, as well as a tree that seemed to have sustained some sort of injury or infection.
We now neared another fork in the road.
Oh, I see the junction up ahead. So we're going to Dry Creek Falls this way?
Yeah, it's 1.4 down and back. And then to Rylander Cascades, it's 0.4 down and back. So it'd be 0.8 total.
I'd say if we want to be safe, we should probably be heading back like around 3, maybe 3:30 at the latest.
Yeah. The main question is, which of these do we think is going to be cooler?
Well, Falls implies more impressive than Cascade, but who knows?
I'd say we do...
My thought is Dry Creek
Dry
Falls.
Creek, yeah, okay. All right, let's do it. Okay, let's go.
Just a little bit into the trail, I noticed something through the trees.
Okay, I see something, and I can't pass up this opportunity. Seems nice and solid. Ooh, it's kind of scary up here, actually. Good view.
Yeah.
How are you peasants down there?
Feel pretty lowly right now. How's the view up there?
It's pretty good. The seat feels kind of warm, actually. It's kind of funny. I think it's been heating up in the sun. All right, we gotta go. Let's go.
We resumed our hike and came across a set of wooden stairs.
These look brand new.
Yeah. They are, and in fact, I think whoever built these left their tape measure here.
Well, that's a nice tape measure. Yeah. We could put it at the junction.
The trail wound further uphill, and we were surprised at how much steeper the incline was.
Man, this uphill is nothing to sneeze at. And the higher we get, the stronger this gust of wind gets.
I'm guessing we picked the harder of the two routes. So I hope that this bra bomb was worth it.
As we hiked, we saw a peculiar sight.
Tiny little hole here in the rocks.
Whoa! It doesn't look like it goes that deep, but that is really cool.
Unfortunately, we couldn't go in to explore it, so we continued on our way.
Wow. Well, this looks like the dry creek, I'm assuming.
I don't think we're quite there yet.
Oh. It looks like a dry creek.
We made our way along a dried up creek bed and soon came across actual running water.
We now entered a grove of hemlock trees, which felt like a completely different world from the rest of the forest, especially in the warm glow of the sun.
You know, there aren't any campsites up here, but this feels like it would be a great area for
I was literally just thinking that same thing. It's also so cool how the environment is so different here. A green valley.
Okay, I think we're just about there.
I definitely hear something. Wow, this is such a cool environment. Look at
Let's
those.
just hope the dry creek doesn't pertain to the falls too.
Look at those cliffs. Well,
Oh yeah, I can see something up ahead.
yeah. It's not like Virgin Falls, but it's pretty cool. Whoa. I mean, it's a small trickle, but this grotto feels like very unique.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I love the way the cliffs have this like shattered, layered look to them. Actually, the coolest part is kind of where the water's dripping onto that log down there, just cascading down.
It's nice. It's a nice little hidden away area. Pretty picturesque.
This view is really pretty too, like with the sun shining through these hemlocks. Feels like we walked into another season.
The greenery of the hemlock leaves gave this area a feeling of lushness and liveliness that felt especially rare in the winter.
As we admired our surroundings, the sun hit the trickling water, revealing a colorful rainbow.
Everything around us was mesmerizing. Though they weren't as big as Virgin Falls, the peaceful grotto and the verdant greenery gave Dry Creek Falls a unique, captivating beauty.
After taking in the view, we started heading back. The sound of the trickling falls filled the air around us.
But as we hiked out, we noticed the smaller details in our environment. The green moss glowing in the sun, and trees growing from layers of fractured shale.
Although we were now retracing our steps, the golden evening light made the hike out that much more magical.
Eventually, we left the grove of hemlocks and were headed back to the junction we had passed by earlier.
Take this back to the junction.
All right, we're back at the junction. Right now it is 2:30, which means we only have about 2 hours of sunlight. First things first, I'm gonna return this, just so someone can pick that up.
I would say Ryland Cascades is definitely out of the picture at this point, because that would be almost a mile. We've got 2 hours left of hiking, 3 miles to get back to the campsite. And I think we could do 1.5 miles per hour, get there right at sunset, but we still have to book it a little bit.
Once we get a little closer, I do want to stop to harvest some wood though, so we have plenty of wood for the fire tonight.
Yeah, I think there was some good spots.
Yeah. All right,
let's do it.
On our way back, we noticed something that might have explained our distorted perception of the trail's distance.
The sign probably a half mile back said Virgin Falls 3 miles. And
Wait,
this sign also says Virgin Falls 3 miles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely put the wrong one on the wrong place or something.
Now we had a short uphill trudge before getting back to the Wilson Ridge Kiosk, where we decided to take another break.
All right, I gotta eat something.
Yeah, come have it.
Evening fell, and the sun began setting as we rested. After we caught our breath, we headed on our way back to camp.
I noticed a plant along the way.
So this is in the briar family of vining plants. Some of the key characteristics are the stems have tiny little thorns and the leaves have these parallel veins on them. You'll see these growing all throughout the season, but there's some varieties that are edible when they're nice and green and tender in the springtime.
Leaves having these really bright sides and these dark sides, is that some characteristic of leaves that is used for identification or something?
Yeah, that can definitely be used for that. Like there's some leaves where the underside looks really bright like that, but also has almost a metallic or silvery color to them. There's others that might be fuzzy underneath or something like that, so.
As we approached and passed Wilson's kiosk, it stayed really windy. The second we passed the kiosk and started going back down, there's almost like no wind. I'm guessing that the wind has just been coming from a westerly direction, and in this valley here, we're nice and sheltered from the wind.
The relative warmth, combined with the beautiful views and downhill hike, made for a pleasant evening stroll.
The more we hiked, the more golden the evening light turned. Through the trees, once blue hills now glowed in amber color.
As we got closer to the campsite, we came across the firewood we had seen before.
All right, so there's a pile of fallen wood here that's been cut to clear the trail. And I think this might be a good spot to look for some firewood. I've got my saw, so that'll make cutting the bigger pieces easy. If you want, Bryan, you can find like marker thick pieces that you can just snap.
After gathering enough large pieces of firewood and bundles of kindling, we made our way back to camp.
We could see our campsite on a hill opposite us. We made our way down this hill and arrived back at the junction near the falls.
Now back at camp, we unloaded our firewood haul.
Well, got some good big pieces of firewood. I still want to get a little bit more before we get it started, but got our Tinder here too.
A half moon glowed in the dusk sky as we discussed our plans for dinner.
Okay, so we're gonna get a fire started, obviously, but most of the stuff we can cook over the jet boiler, but I did bring sweet potatoes that I want to bake, so that'll be dessert, I think.
What's the main meal?
We've got some accoutrements to our dehydrated meals, some mashed potatoes.
We've got stuffing mix that we can cook with this chicken stock for extra chicken flavor.
Well, in that case, I think I'm just gonna make one dehydrated meal.
Yeah, and the dehydrated meals we brought were chicken and dumplings and then mac and cheese, so it's kind of in that autumnal winter food festival theme.
So I think the plan is we'll get our foods, our dehydrated meals going, and then
You make the fire?
Yeah, you make the fire.
We'll get the food going.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so this bundle of tinder we collected is some good stuff, but it's still a bit damp. I was anticipating using this fat wood anyway to help get the fire going. Come on. There we go, there we go. Put the stuff on it immediately.
For extra insurance, I placed a few splinters of fat wood onto the burning tinder before adding the kindling.
There we go. It's getting hot.
After adding more bundles of kindling, the fire stabilized, and Bryan started preparing dinner.
We mixed some hot water and chicken stock for our instant mashed potatoes. So it just says to add it and then stir it, so really that's all we should need to do.
After that, we added instant stuffing to some hot water.
You sure this is the way you're supposed to cook it?
No. But it'll work. Here, I want to put a little bit of this in here.
And to the stuffing, we added more chicken stock for some extra flavor.
Probably good, yeah?
In the meantime, we stuck a sweet potato into the hot embers so that it would bake while we ate our main course.
We also had a handy gadget sent to us by a viewer.
Just so I can portion out my sides, I'm even going to use this snap bowl that Dan Vulcan sent us. It was a pretty cool design, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because it's completely flat, but then when you fold it up, it becomes a bowl.
Yeah, packs down nice.
That's kind of similar to what
It's got measuring on it, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so we've got a full Thanksgiving dinner. We've got the mac and cheese. We've got some stuffing, mashed potatoes.
I've got chicken and dumplings.
Yep.
Ding, 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 ding.
Get a whiff of that.
Ooh, man, that smells great.
Oh, man. It smells like Grandma's house. That stuffing is pretty good.
Stuffing is good. And
Yeah.
we should bring mashed potatoes like every time we go camping.
Yeah, those mashed potatoes are great.
So easy.
Yeah, it literally took like 30 seconds to make. I'm going to be so carved up tonight.
This mac and cheese is a different brand than the one we tested. I was hoping it'd be a little bit less watery, but still a little watery.
Ultimately, depends on how it tastes.
Tastes okay. All these dishes kind of taste more or less the same, but slightly different. But they're all really satisfying.
Yeah.
Okay, so from Lance and Ishin, it's pork mince, but this time this has eggplant. Oh, wow, there's a lot of eggplant in there.
This is about to be the best dish out of all of these.
Wow, these are incredible. This is spicy, too.
Ooh.
Wow.
Holy cow. This one takes the cake.
The flavor on that is just so different from anything you normally get.
Especially these like Thanksgiving, Christmas dinner style foods. All in all, I'd say pretty good day.
Yeah.
Now, we grabbed the sweet potato from the embers. It had been thoroughly charred on the outside, but the inside looked perfect.
We scooped the sweet potato into a pot, then added some ghee, or clarified butter.
And accompanying our roasted sweet potato were some of our small marshmallows. Now, it was time to dig in.
It's not bad. I've never been a really big fan of sweet potatoes. I'm not a good person to give an opinion on sweet potatoes.
That's a nice combo of flavors.
The sweet potato is very good. Sweet potato is very good. Let me try with the marshmallow, even though I think that's disgusting. I just don't like marshmallows with sweet potatoes, but this sweet potato turned out really well. It's good.
Need more butter?
I mean, you could always use more butter. Why not?
Just use a little more on here. That butteriness does add to that like richness of the potato, though. Like that ghee, yeah, I really like it actually with the ghee and the marshmallows. The ghee adds this like sort of savory richness to it.
The sweet potato is mostly cooked really well.
Yeah, it's funny. The outside is so charred, but the inside is nice. It turns out perfect. I'd say that was a success.
Yeah,
I would
more?
too.
Anyone else want more?
No, I'm good.
So there's one more thing.
Oh yeah.
You'll need some water for this. Now the thing is, I don't actually know what these are. These are also from Jim and Irma. There's 3 flavors: Buko Pandan Polvoron, Ube Polvoron, and Melon Polvoron. I guess Polvoron is what it is.
Hey, do you guys know what pandan is?
Nope.
So when we were in Hawaii, we saw these weird fruits growing from a pandan tree. There's another variety of that grows in Southeast Asia where they use the leaves. So it's a common like green colored flavoring they use in a lot of Southeast Asian desserts.
Enjoy Polvoron. Is that how you say it? Polvoron. Polvoron. Polvoron.
Polvoron sounds right.
Okay. Eat them with water or soda. It says toasted wheat cake. No preservative added, so. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, surprisingly sweet.
This one has like a good earthy kind of savory sweet flavor, you know?
This tastes a lot like a pecan sandy. It has the same texture, maybe a more fruity flavor, but
I can't say that the ube tastes like ube, but it tastes good.
The ube I can taste, but it's very subtle. They all have like a similar kind of
nuttiness to it.
Yeah, nuttiness. As you're chewing it, this kind of like consistency of like peanut butter, you know?
pretty good.
Very good.
Thank you, Jim and Irma. All right, it's currently 33 degrees, so we're definitely gonna get below freezing tonight. Well, that smell of a campfire is not a smell I've smelled in a long time now. When was the last time we had a campfire?
That's true. Yeah.
Like 6 months ago?
August.
It's like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
It had been a while since we got to enjoy a warm campfire on a brisk night out. As we stared at the fire's soft glow, we talked about the simple joys of camping trips like this one.
For people who aren't into backpacking and camping and you say like, oh, I love camping or I love backpacking, and they kind of wonder what it is we like about it, I think it's trips like this that perfectly exemplify it, where it's not too hard, but it's not too easy. It's just hard enough that you have some satisfaction when you get to camp. And then you have these great dinners that somehow turn out well, despite all signs pointing to the contrary. Like even that sweet potato that Andrew just threw on the fire, that just worked. And now we get like this perfect fire, and the sky is perfectly clear tonight. You can see all these stars.
There's a lot of outdoors activities where it's like very clearly a hobby, you know, like climbing is a very specific activity. And backpacking can be like that too, depending on how you do it. But for me, backpacking has always been about just living, but in nature. And those are the trips that are my favorite, where, like you said, like we hiked and we exerted ourselves, but it's like the right amount. Like the amount someone would have to hunt a mammoth or whatever back in the Stone Age. And then you come back to camp. And it's not like we're doing anything special, we're just existing together. But instead of a TV, we have a campfire. And instead of fluorescent lights, we got the moon and the stars.
Yeah, for me, camaraderie is the big part of backpacking. When you get out here with friends, you're gonna be together for the next few days, and you can't help but just bond and like socialize and everything like that. You all celebrate your victories together and you lament your losses together.
One of the first times we went backpacking was in the Smokies, and then we ran into a group that had just come off the Appalachian Trail. And I remember they came off of it and were like, oh yeah, we did like 15 miles today so far, we did 20 yesterday. And they were just like so motivated and into it. And I remember looking at them, and this kind of dumb thought in retrospect, but I remember thinking, I was like, oh, are we supposed to be doing that? Is that how you're supposed to backpack? And then I found out, oh no, that's just one of the ways to do it.
Right,
like
right.
There's so many different ways to enjoy it.
Like I'm not gonna poo-poo anyone who likes doing ultralight, because I totally see the appeal of that. But it's like you can bring whatever you want out here, as long as you can bring it.
Yeah.
I brought a whole sweet potato.
Bring what you want. You can hike however far you want.
Yeah.
It's about the experience.
You can bring a big tent if you want.
Backpacking it prevents itself from being competitive.
Well, yeah, it's like, someone could say you're doing something wrong, but it's like, did you survive and did you have a good time? Then you did it right, more or less.
Part of it is refining what you like most about it.
Yeah.
So then you can lean into those things. Like, we like sweet potatoes and some people like marshmallows. Yeah, in fact, we should stop going to places that don't allow campfires. There's nothing for us there.
This little moment is the entire meaning of life right now.
Sitting by a campfire is a perfect way to recalibrate your mind. It's a way to remember just how pleasurable the simple things in life can be.
There's a place for adrenaline-filled thrills, but the outdoors aren't exclusive to those who can climb up cliffs or hike countless miles.
Sometimes, all you need is a short jaunt through the woods, followed by some warm embers on a starry moonlit night. It got really cold. So I'd say probably like 4 or 5 a.m. That's when I think I started really feeling it. Let's see if the other guys are gonna wake up or not.
How was it?
Oh, it was actually a little bit too warm.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually great.
What's your thermometer say?
It said 33.
Not bad. Yeah, I mean, I was fine pretty much all night until like the last bits of the morning.
So it got cold and you decided to get up?
Yeah, I figured I was like, I'm just lying here, like, comfortable, but I might as well just get up and move around and warm myself up that way.
It was a brisk, frosty morning. As I grabbed my boots to get up, I noticed something strange.
I think a squirrel put some nuts in my shoes or something. There's like bits of a nut in both shoes.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely would have felt those if you were walking around on those all day.
Yeah.
In the bright morning light, we prepared some water for some hot beverages, then started packing up our gear.
After packing up, it was time for some morning mochas, but we were running low on a key ingredient.
We've only got one coffee packet left, so we're gonna divvy this out between each of us for a little bit of a caffeine kick for each person. Oh, that is,
Yeah.
Wow, that is life-giving.
Something about this just feels right. Sun shining down on us.
Oh yeah. Blue
Hot
sky.
cocoa permeating our tongues and down our body.
I slept really well, actually.
Yeah. And that pillow, I need to buy a pillow now. I was like really hot for the first half of the night. I think you guys were too, because I heard you guys talking for a bit.
I remember thinking like, oh man, I'm almost too warm right now.
Yeah.
Those toe warmers, I put 2 in my unisock and my feet were never cold the whole night. And then I put 2 right on my knees. And usually my knees get really cold at night, especially when I like bend my legs. But now when I bent my leg, it was like extra warm. I'm amazed how comfortable that night of sleep was though. Yeah. This cup is too insulated. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah.
That'll warm you up.
It was a perfectly clear, sunny day. We were a bit sad to leave the campsite that was our home for the past 2 days, but we were eager to get on the trail and explore some of the sights we had passed up on our way in.
And so, we hoisted up our packs and left camp. And of course, before heading out, we stopped to enjoy the falls one final time. Small icicles had formed on the falls overnight, still just out of reach from the warm morning light. With that, we went on our way. We followed the sun-soaked trail, passing by some of the other campsites in the area. We would now be taking a small diversion on our way out to check out a landmark called Sheep Cave.
Before hiking on, we took a moment to pause and appreciate winter's unique atmosphere.
Yeah, stop for a second. Have you ever been in a more quiet environment?
I feel like I can hear, maybe it's like water rushing way off in the distance. Over that way.
Man, I love this type of weather in this type of season.
Besides a silent, serene ambiance, another common thing in the winter are old pear-shaped puffballs, which release spores when touched. The path descended the side of a hill, leading us into a small gully strewn with boulders.
Wow. That's a cool area.
Yeah. Nice little alcove. Or, I don't know what this would be called.
Yeah, I think the cave is just up in that direction.
The trail led up another hill, where it passed between 2 large boulders. Beyond the massive stones, a large gulch revealed itself just to the right of the path.
We continued towards the apex of the gulch, passing by a sign that pointed to Sheep Cave.
Yeah, one thing that comes to my mind is, why is it called Sheep Cave? Maybe they used to store sheep in there. Like in Minecraft, you just shove sheep in a cave and fence it off.
Nice little fall too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa. At first you think it's kind of shallow and then you turn the corner.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Definitely ominous. Really curious how deep that goes. Like how bright it is out here, it just looks completely dark right now.
Let's see if we can shine a light in there, and then we can take a look.
Oh, a little bit. It looks like there is a back wall.
We weren't allowed to go inside, but as best as we could tell from our vantage point, this limestone cave seemed to have a tangible end in sight. But water seemed to be seeping through the rock and feeding into the nearby falls.
I think it's just an effect of the water echoing through the caves or something, but there's like a weird creepy sound coming from that cave.
It's not the wind? I thought that was some wind.
Oh yeah, probably the wind. There's a pretty good echo. It's probably the wind just like rustling through something and then just echoing throughout this tunnel. Man, if you heard that at night though, that'd be pretty creepy.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if, because that almost sounds like the bleating of sheep, kind of, like the sound that they make. I wonder if that has anything to do with it.
Could be.
Regardless of the reason for the name, we were captivated by the Sheep Cave's grandiose cliffs and mysterious ambiance.
After fully appreciating our surroundings, we headed back to the Sheep Cave Trail.
The trail now continued eastward, heading back to another part of the Virgin Falls Trail. Here, tall stone bluffs rose from the ground, and we were afforded another view of the large nearby gulch.
So the cave itself is way up there.
Yeah.
All these massive caves down there.
That just keeps going down too. Man, I wish I had the ability to just fly down and explore. That'd be so cool. That's like one of those things where the mystery and wonder of it is part of the appeal though.
Yeah.
I will explore this hole though. Nothing really.
Any squirrels?
No.
As we hiked, the bright afternoon light perfectly illuminated dangling beech leaves, revealing an amber golden glow once hidden beneath a drab brown exterior. All around us, the world shimmered with magic.
Up ahead, we decided to take a quick break, and Andrew noticed a peculiar tree nearby.
This is a random cedar tree in the middle of all this forest, and the bark is nice and shaggy and dry. Perfect tinder. And I have a weird part of my brain that whenever I see tinder like that, I just get the urge to shred and burn things. I don't know. Form the fibers into a fluffy bundle.
Any idea? Just an infection or something?
It's a burl, tree burl. Oh, what I do know is people who woodwork love the grain from that wood because it's so gnarled and creates interesting patterns. Like a nice bowl or something out of that.
biggest bowl in the world.
Yeah, so we were here yesterday.
Yeah.
No, Monday. No, 2 days ago we were here.
Sunday.
Yeah. All right.
That's a nice little jaunt.
Yeah, this way.
A little jaunty hike back to the car. We continued hiking along the main trail, when suddenly we heard a commotion. What was probably a rescue helicopter was flying through the valley. I hope they're not looking for us, because we sent out GPS signals, so nobody should be looking for us.
And that ranger, we told him that we were at Virgin Falls for 2 nights.
Yeah,
So
that would be really weird. Maybe it was a
it's definitely coming back right now.
military test or something. We could tell it was coming, but then when I saw it, it was just like beyond the tree line. I was like, wow.
That was flying really low.
I realized how close it was when I turned around. That time it didn't seem to be flying with as much urgency.
No. It was a little higher up too, I think. Or further
The first
away.
time it seemed to be blasting through the valley.
Yeah, I really hope that's some sort of training thing, because if they're trying to look for us for any reason, I'm like, we can't afford that.
We later confirmed that there was a training exercise being run. Not thinking too much of it in the moment, we continued hiking and eventually returned to Big Laurel Falls. We decided to take another look at it up close.
Is it flowing a little more today? It's hard to tell.
Same.
The calming sounds of the waterfall made this a perfect sunny spot for a lunch break before our final hike out.
I was gonna say, give me a protein bar. And then I was thinking your response would be, nobody wanted my protein bars before.
Now you need that protein for those leg muscles. I got these protein bars because, like, usually ones that are a little higher calorie and lower in protein taste a little better, but these don't actually taste that good for that.
That's a protein bar, all right.
The lemon one is nice because it has like a bit of crispness to it.
Protein Stockholm syndrome. This protein bar tastes like Play-Doh. Like literally, it smells a bit like Play-Doh.
Rinse that protein bar out of your mouth.
You could squirt some ghee onto your beef stick. You know, this is kind of like a good harkening back to our first backpacking in Smokies, where we were down to like 2 walnuts. Post-hike meal is going to be great.
Yeah.
Now, we headed up the steep slope, back to the Virgin Falls Trail. It was the quintessential hike out, a bright, sunny day, a mostly flat trail, with a little extra surprise waiting for us before the end.
Today was gearing up to be the perfect capstone for a fantastic trip, and although it was the middle of winter, life teemed all around us.
Although we had passed them on the way in, the large boulders scattered across the forest seemed especially striking in the bright sunlight.
We now came to the junction we had passed on the first day, and detoured onto the upland trail, which led uphill towards Martha's Pretty Point.
Before long, we saw more rocky bluffs jutting out from the hillside.
All right, I'm guessing that's the overlook. We're gonna wrap back around and head through the valley in there.
Yeah, there's some steep wooden stairs, which is actually kind of nice because that means you get a lot of elevation in a short amount of time. This place is full of so many cool little rocky secrets like this.
At the top of the stairs, we were greeted with a flat trail that passed through vibrant green shrubs.
And after a few moments, we we came to Martha's Pretty Point, a sandstone outcrop that treated us to an absolutely breathtaking view.
It was impossible to come to such a grandiose overlook without reflecting a little bit on our incredible journey so far.
Man, I was not expecting a view like this. It seemed like so little hiking to get here, but the view is phenomenal.
I feel like Robby downplayed this view a little bit, so I wasn't expecting anything at all.
The reason is because I forgot about it. I totally forgot about this.
But yeah, this is a great way to cap it off.
It's so great that there's so much untouched land like this, because you can look in pretty much any direction and there's almost no signs of development. There's like a tower over there, but just this unspoiled land for as far as the eye can see.
Mm-hmm. This moment makes me think of so many times in the past when we've hiked over to an overlook. Like even before we ever went backpacking, like the way the sun is just hitting the rocks and the way those blue hills look this time of year, it's so perfect.
Yeah, we've been to so many overlooks that feel exactly like this, same kind of rocks, same view, but it's always just amazing to see it every time.
Never gets old.
Yeah.
We often yearn for grandiose trips to exotic places, but sometimes simple outings are the best reminder of just how much wonder exists in our world.
Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/adventure. Patrons get early access to the episodes, bloopers, commentaries, and patron-only updates. At some of the higher tiers, you can get your name in the credits or even one of the special shoutouts, which you'll see in just a bit. You can listen to the soundtracks from the episodes at adventurearchives.bandcamp.com. We have t-shirts and merchandise for sale at our Teespring store, which you can find a link for in the description below. And finally, if you want to know any of the gear that we used in the video, we have affiliate links for all of that in the description below. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
These logs are so big that you'd have to have a raging fire to get these going. Like, look at this. Look at this chonker right here.
Man, if I lived close to here, this would just be like my go-to spot when I want to get away.
Yeah, this would be a great place to camp.
Yeah. Nice big flat open ground. Just have a lot of fun here.
What are you craving for your post-hike meal?
Nothing in particular, but for some reason in my head I'm imagining a pizza restaurant that has pasta, bucatini, calzones, some sort of baked cheese. I don't actually know what bucatini is.
Probably just imagining a post-hike meal we've already had, actually.
Yeah. Both the overlook and the trail were way cooler than you sold.
Yeah, I was like, I had forgotten about the overlook, and then this section of the trail, I was like, yeah, it says some forest roads or something. It's actually a beautiful forest with a great soft needle floor.
Feels like a carpet. I assume this is the more forest road part?
Something like that.
Yeah, it still looks nice though. Nice and flat.
Yeah, that's wolf poop. It's got hair in it.
Yeah, also there's like a little pointy bit on one of the turds. That's how you know it's carnivore poop.
good to be back.
I don't think we saw that view because it was so foggy.
Oh yeah, looks great. Oh yes.
Oh man, that's the best thing I've eaten all day.
Wow. This bodes well for the post-hike meal, but I'm this hungry. Yeah, last time I was here, this is Sparta, Tennessee, I had a Mexican restaurant, and it turns out there's only 2 Mexican restaurants in town, so we're gonna try the other one because Mexican sounded really good. And also there is a Mass Effect car right there.
Yeah, I just saw that.
It's like the old BP.
Shoutout. Oh man, look at this. Little mask and everything. Nicely binded.
Man.
Oh baby. It's beans and cheese. Oh
Yeah.
I lost the chip.
Queso being complimentary is kind of unheard of. That's awesome.
Maybe it's not complimentary.
Got that guava flavored.
Mango?
Oh.
Oh, that's good because I was gonna get mango.
Wow, that's on point.
I was gonna get a tamarind, but I saw this. I've never had this, but it's sangria flavored. Isn't that like a type of alcohol usually?
Oh.
It's good. It's kind of like 90% grape juice, 10% wine flavor. This even has the chicken skin on it. Oh yeah.
Ever since Thomas took us to that wing place in New York, what was it, like Dave's Dill Hole or something? Just like, I've gotten super into wings. They're good, like crispy.
How are these ones?
They're great,
Great,
man.
they're crispy, not overly sauced.
Right here.
Oh man, look at all that cheese. Holy moly.
Wow, I'm good.
Fish tacos. It's a little mango, it looks like.
Oh yeah, that Baja flavor.
A good fried fish is like...
This is solid flavor. It's like you can't go wrong with that. Yeah.
The cheese is like...
Swimming.
It's like swimming.
Quite good.
What was this place called? El Mesón?
El Mesón de Pedro.
Merry Christmas. Yeah. Let's go eat these Cinnabons. We didn't get dessert at the Mexican restaurant because it was taking too long. So, we gotta have a little dessert. Oh, there's like icing inside of it. I took a bite and I got bursted.
This one's all flat.
Have you had the cinnamon twists? Because those are kind of garbo, but these are... Oh.
Jasper Caps?
Yeah, that's me. What can I do for you?
The name's Huang Suolo. I need to offload this Timo Starpath unit.
You want to go to the San Juan 1 system. The Great Lakes Watercraft Syndicate is there. Go see them. Try the Sue and Tom. That'll warm you up.
I'll keep it in mind. I was told I should try the Sue and Ton. I heard it'll warm me up.
It looks like you came to the right place. I'm Leon Lin.
And I'm Lou. Lin.
I've got a Timo Starpath unit. Swiped it from the Bryan and Aussie Yamagata gang. Nasty bunch.
Timo Starpath unit. Just what we've been looking for. I'd say normally those go for like 20,000. But what if we just took it instead?
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
And why's that?
Because he's
holding a Chungo bifurcator!
Huh? This is my little friend, Big Chungus. It'll blast Chungle spores from here to San Juan 2. I'm fresh up on my inoculations. How about you? You wanna risk it? Huh? You? Now why don't you take my Timo Starpath unit, give me my 50,000 credits and I can be on my way. Nobody needs to be jungled tonight.
My name is May Beameray. My name is George Smith. My name is Madeline Holly. I'd always been into the outdoors. You know, I really loved hiking. 17 or so, I remember going on my first camping trip. It was after sustaining a foot injury that I decided to go on YouTube and search for some hiking videos and camping videos and things of that sort. And I stumbled upon Adventure Archives. And then I decided to scroll back to one of their earlier episodes, and that's when I saw it. Well, for me, it was a more recent episode where something just wasn't quite right. Something was off. After watching that episode, I just kept thinking to myself, how am I gonna go on living after this? I was just looking for a relaxing nature video, and then I was blinded by this disturbing imagery. I just kept thinking to myself, why me? Why did I have to see that? I mean, frankly, I am ticked off. What gives them the right? Who gave them the power? I mean, someone's gotta stop these people. Well, my name is Joey. I'm one half of the Joey and Mela private investigation company. George Smith hired me back in 2019 to investigate the disappearance of his sister, Christina Alvarez. I thought it was pretty straightforward. I didn't think the YouTube thing had any connection, but once I dug deeper, I have to say this was the strangest case I had ever seen. Honestly, the further I got into this investigation, the scarier it became. And usually things like this don't freak me out, but some of the things I saw were just beyond disturbing. Who was behind these videos? Why were they putting these things in the videos? What will they do next? And who can stop them?
Alright, so which moon do you want to go to? Looks like we've got Mary Sienkiewicz -143, Salvador Gonzalez -68, and Jake Buer -183. It looks like the weather's stormy, but it's probably our best bet. Let's go with Jake Buer. Alright, I'm launching it. Alright, I've reached the main entrance. I'm going in. I'm in the facility. Let me know where I should go. Alright. First things first, it looks like we've got at least one piece of loot on your left there. Go check it out. Copy that. Looks like we've got a piece of scrap here, just an old calculator. Right now I'm not seeing anything. Maybe go check out those stairs. Alright, I'm gonna head upstairs. Yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of loot in the room up ahead. Seems pretty dark in here. I think I'm gonna turn on my flashlight. Looks like there's a lot of good loot in here. Nice, there's some good stuff here. Okay, heads up. I'm seeing a lot of activity on your radar. Lots of red dots. Okay, be careful. There's a red dot approaching on you. I think it's a Dan Vulcans. Hey, do you copy?
What?
Employee 64. Do you respond? Employee 64.
What gods do you pray to, James Rokitsky? I pray to the Four Winds, Stephen Hogan, Sarah Wright, and Sven. And you? To Gavin Ryan. But I seldom pray to him. He doesn't listen. What good is he then? It's just as I've always said. He's strong. If I die, I will have to go before him. And he will ask me what is the riddle of steel. And if I don't know it, he will cast me out of a hole and laugh at me. That's Gavin Ryan. Strong on his mountain. My God is greater. Gavin Ryan laughs at your four winds. Laughs from his mountain. My God is stronger. They are the everlasting sky. Your God lives beneath them.
Adjutant online. Good evening, Magistrates David and Jennifer Dickerson. I'll fill you in on what's been happening. The Protoss stronghold on planet Ire has been overtaken by the Zerg. They are now approaching the Terran colony of Fern Yvette. Here to debrief the situation is Commander Charles Bowling. If the Zerg take over the Ren Yvette colony, it'll be a major blow to the Dominion. Lieutenant Karen Bowling is already on her way. As you know, she has powerful psionic powers that will be useful in our mission. Now, let's roll out.
Douglas Jackson, Expedition Research LLC, Marion GG. We won again. This is good. But Kelsey Godridis, what is best in life? The open trail. Good boy dog. Backpack on your back. And the wind in your hair. Wrong! John Truitt, what is best in life? To crush your hunger, see your post-act meal before you, and hear the lamentations of your appetite. That is good. To crush your hunger, and hear the lamentations of your appetite.
Awesome, how was the trip?
It's good.
Were you all sharing a tent?
No, Bryan hammocked. Me and Robby were in the big tent.
Bryan hammocked, so you guys got the big tent to each other, and then